if you're in need and you need help, you need to talk to these guys, because asking for help doesn't show weakness. It shows a sign of strength, that you're willing to ask for help. Get your pride out of the way and just ask.
Hello, my name is Blake Furman, and I'm the founder of Veterans Navigation Network. I appreciate you joining us today as we get to talk to one of the many veterans that we've gotten to work with through our work, serving veterans, their families, and active duty service members as they work on transitioning from military service to civilian life. We connect veterans and service members to resources that can improve their life, and we work with a lot of community partners to do that and make life better for them. So thanks for joining us. And today I'm here with Dale Weech. How are you doing today, Dale?
I'm doing fine. Thank you, Blake.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming on today and telling a little bit about your story. And I know that you're a veteran, but our audience doesn't. So if you could just talk a little bit about, your military service. I mean, we'll start off with what branch you were in.
Okay, well, started off in the Navy, entered in 72, and then I was released in 76 from the Navy. Then I went into the Air Force, and I was with the Air Force for 10 years.
Wow, all right. And which branch do you like better? I know our audience is going to want to know the answer to that.
Oh, I think the Air Force was a little nicer to me.
No comment, no comment.
Okay, all right.
What really made you decide to join the military? Did you join straight out of high school, or?
No, actually, I joined before high school. I had to have a parent's consent, but I could see my life going nowhere in the little town I was raised in. My dad was in the military, my uncle was in the military, and I had two cousins that were in the military. So I thought it was the best way to serve my country and maybe help protect some of the folks that live here.
Yeah, well, hey, that's definitely appreciated, and I know a lot of our viewers are military. Yellowstone County has about 10% of our population that's made up of military, so
Right.
I know a lot of folks join for different reasons, but that's a couple of good reasons there for sure. So, so what did you do in the military? So let's start with the Navy. What was your role or job? I guess your rate, that's what you Navy folks call it.
Yeah. Well, I was aboard ship for a while. I was on the USS Pawcatuck for a while. It's an oiler, and we were doing refueling other ships as we were headed to the Mediterranean. And then I was transferred to the USS Independence. And from there, they put me on an F-4 Phantom, and took me over to Saigon. And then that's where I served. The bulk of my military service was in Vietnam. And I was with different people when I was over there, let's say. So we'll just keep all the hype out of it. But as I served alongside many good people when I was over there, and all of them thought as I did, maybe we can help protect our country a little better from tyranny and whatever, and then keep things running smooth. It wasn't all as cracked up to be, but it's a part of life, and if we want to protect our men and women back home, then this is what we have to do.
Right.
So we're not afraid to do that, and I certainly wasn't afraid to do that. Yeah. So even getting shot at and shot a time or two, it's just, it was what it was. And a lot of my brothers and sisters that are back home, they will attest to it's not all fun and games. There are many good times over there, and many beautiful places over there, but still it's different.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you kind of alluded to it, but I'm sure there's some good memories from your time in service. And
Oh, yeah.
I know I have a ton of them myself from my time in the Army, but would you be willing to share just kind of one experience from the military that really stands out for you?
Yeah, when my boys and I, there was only 4 of us there, but when my boys and I got liberty, we we went to Subic Bay in the Philippines and met a couple of girls there. There was no hanky-panky going on. There just wasn't. But their mother was in a bad way, and they were living in squalor, just to put it the easiest way. And Jim and I, we helped her, and we gave them money, and we fixed their place up, and we did a lot of work for them. And after that was all said and done, it was time to go back to the jungle again. So, but that was just one good aspect of it. And we were kind of adopted into their family. So we were the sons she never had, I guess you'd say.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that, especially during the time, in the stateside, there's a lot of kind of turmoil and just maybe unappreciativeness of the different things that people were doing.
Absolutely.
And, definitely always make a point to welcome home our Vietnam vets, so welcome home to you.
Well, thank you.
But also, I mean, it wasn't just going over there and fighting, like you said. I mean, that was your liberty. For people who don't know, liberty's like your off time, right? So, I mean, it was the time you could have been doing whatever you wanted, but instead you chose to go and help that family. So that's pretty cool, and I think something the news sure was not covering that at the time, right? So,
right, yeah.
Definitely, I think a lot of our service members do that, and they're not looking to publicize it. They're just doing it because it's the right thing to do, and the news doesn't always catch wind of that. So
that's
I
right.
Appreciate you and what you did there, but eventually ended up getting out of the military. So what are some of the challenges or barriers to that successful transition that you ran into?
There was several that I ran into, being in the grocery store, and then a child would drop a bottle of whatever on the floor, and immediately I turned around and acted like I'm going for my weapon, because it sounded like a bullet hitting like a tree or something is what it would sound like, and there was definite challenges with that. But I didn't know that you folks even existed back then when I got out. Had I have known that, I would have been in a much better place. I did have a good support group. I really did. There was a gentleman that took me under his wing. He was an old cowboy, kind of like myself, and he hauled me to Mountain Home Air Force Base twice a week for a year, helping me overcome a lot of this PTSD, you would say. And back then they called it shell shock. Then it was battle fatigue. Now it's PTSD. So I wish they'd make up their mind on what it is. But still, once I met you folks, it's like everything changed for me. It really did.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, to be honest, we didn't even exist back then when you were making that transition out of the military. So, it was my transition, run into a lot of, unfortunately, the same problems that you ran into, that we ended up starting Veterans Navigation Network. And there are a few good groups across the country that help service members and veterans with that transition, but unfortunately too many fall through the cracks, and you kind of had up until you came to Billings, and we were able to connect with you, and thankfully get a lot of things ironed out.
Absolutely.
So, but in the was that rancher, or your fellow cowboy, was that was he a service member as well?
No, he wasn't. He grew up on ranches his whole life. He farmed and he ranched. That's about all he did. And then when I went to work actually for a trailer factory, it was on little camp trailers, and he was working there, and he was seeing there was something wrong with me, and that wasn't a very good interlude to what we were going to become, but he seen it was a problem, and he was asking me about it, and I just clam up. I wouldn't say anything. And then pretty soon after he started prodding and poking a while, the walls started coming down. I thought, well, maybe this is a guy I can trust. And sure enough, it was. I mean, he was phenomenal in my recovery. So, and then he's gone now. He passed several years ago, but it's like I really felt bad because we didn't share near enough time together that I would have liked to. But the memories are still there.
For sure. I think that's a testament to, I mean, our model at VNN is that it's veterans helping veterans, but it really is the community coming together, because we couldn't do what we do without the support of the community. And I mean, there's really anybody can help veterans with that transition as long as they ask those questions.
Exactly.
Don't just say thank you for your service, but actually, want to hear some of those stories.
Do something about it. Yeah, really.
Like not just buy a cup of coffee for a vet, but have a cup of coffee with them, kind of a thing.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Spend some time and actually care about their military service, which it sounds like this gentleman did for you. So.
Right.
I think that's something we can take away from your story for sure. So let's, I guess, fast forward. You decided it was time to move up to Montana, and
we had been here 16 years ago, and then I moved back because my mother had passed away, and so I was trying to get all that put in order, and I find out that my stepdad had already given everything to his kids, so it was worthless, and then I was stuck in Idaho. So after 16 years, we finally got to move back, and then I turned around and lost my son a year ago, October in 23, lost my wife in August, mother-in-law in June, I think it was, 4 horses, 4 dogs later, and we're still here. It's just me and my daughters now.
Yeah.
But we're all good, and you guys are still supporting us, so that's what I appreciate.
Well, yeah, for sure. We definitely do our best. And I guess, how did you first hear about VNN, and talk a little bit more about?
Well, we got here in, I think it was July, either June or July we got back here. And we were told about Volunteers of America. They helped us get a motel and stay in that for several months. And then the lady that was working there had mentioned you folks, and so I come over, and that's the first time I'd met with you. And I seen a lot of what you and Mike and the other Mike are doing, so too many Mikes.
Yeah.
But when I was asking you what you guys could do to help, either get us into a house or get us to the right sources, and right away Mike Foose just stepped up, took me over to the VA, over to the Common Pension Office, and got things rolling on my tinnitus and my hearing loss, and it's like anytime I needed to do something, I'd call you guys, and you'd say, well, you can go here, you can go there. And it just wasn't saying you could do it. You guys helped me to do it. And I just kind of wanted a side note here for my brothers and sisters that, I'm the kind of person that doesn't ask for help. I just don't, because I've relied on myself and the Creator for so many years. But if you're in need and you need help, you need to talk to these guys, because asking for help doesn't show weakness. It shows a sign of strength, that you're willing to ask for help. Get your pride out of the way and just ask, because it works. You guys work. You just don't talk about it. You do it.
Right.
So that's what I really appreciated about your services.
Yeah. Well, and I appreciate that mention for sure, and I also appreciate the fact, you reached out and asked for help, but you still did your fair share, right?
Yeah,
you still did the things you had to do.
I still did quite a bit of work in between, yes.
Yeah, so I think that's important, is, VNN isn't here to do everything.
No, you've definitely got to put in some work too.
Yeah. And the more that, the veterans that we see and serve put into it, the more we're able to help them really change their lives. And I think you're point in case, you were willing to do your fair share of the work, but we got you connected to the right people, the right places, and because of that, you're in a lot better place now.
Yeah, absolutely. I've met a lot of good people here in Billings. I never lived here. I lived up around Glasgow, or Havre, excuse me. And when I was here the first time, didn't meet near the people that I've met here in Billings. And it's not like it's just the people, but it's the whole attitude of everybody here. They really want to help the veterans. They really want to see them exceed and excel at what they're doing. But there again, you've got to put in some work along with that. And if you're from the military, if you've got a military background, you know what it's all about, putting the work in.
Right. Well, I appreciate you sharing your story. I know We covered it pretty briefly, but I think the message that you shared about reaching out if you need to, or even if you don't, just reach out and connect, bottom
Yeah,
line.
exactly.
And, that's the message that we want our viewers to hear today. And really anybody that is looking for our services, we're located in Billings, but we serve veterans across the state of Montana. And so we're really trying to expand and bring these services, because Dell's right, we have a ton of services in Billings, but we want to take these services to the rest of Montana. And so if you're interested in helping us do that, you can go to veteransnavigation.org and reach out to us there, or email us or call us at info@veteransnavigation.org. So we look forward to hearing from you. We thank you for watching, and thanks again, Dell, for being on the show today.
My pleasure.